Today we're going to break down how much money you can expect to make as a freelancer, how many hours a week you can ultimately expect to work, and if working for an agency is worth it. All of that and much more coming up on the 6th Q&A Sunday. So what's going down, guys? My name is Jack. Welcome back to the channel. We're back with another Q&A. We're going to start it off with a great one. I think it actually could apply to a lot of you guys. My question is, I love video editing, but I'm kind of an introvert. I can't communicate well with clients, and I'm shy in public to capture videos. What shall I do? The feelings you have shouldn't stop you from going after the career that you have. You shouldn't use that as a roadblock. In fact, I think that's just an excuse. You have two options. Either you could sit in your bedroom telling everybody the excuse of how you're an introvert, and that's the reason why you never went out there and built your business, or you can find a way to make it happen regardless. Get over the feeling you have of the anxiety to communicate with the client, and trust me, the clients ain't that scary. I'm getting a small loan this summer. Would you advise me to buy a MacBook Air M1 or an iPad Pro? I would 1000% advise the MacBook. Can you do a lot of stuff on the iPad Pro? For sure, but in no world is it a more powerful system that you can ultimately make money from, build a business from, etc. than a MacBook. How many hours have you spent video editing? How many hours have gone by on the clock since Jesus died? Infinite. Countless. So many. I couldn't even begin to calculate. If someone pulled out a gun, held it to my head, and said, tell me how many hours of editing you've done in your life, or I pull the trigger, Jack is gone. There is no more Jack. I'm dead. How much of a freelance video editor's workload is using stock transitions and music, and how much is After Effects? You say you're a little bit worried about After Effects, but you're cruising in Premiere Pro. The majority of projects aren't even going to need After Effects. They're just going to be a simple chops and cuts with some B-roll on top, etc. You can get by and, in fact, coast with Premiere Pro. The only time you're going to need to go over to After Effects is if you want to employ some larger effects, maybe some 3D camera work, maybe some more advanced level motion tracking. But again, for 99% of projects, After Effects simply won't be used. Now, stock footage, stock transitions, that 100% will be used. I'd go a step further and say, as a freelancer, you're oftentimes using premium assets in every single project you create. After Effects, not so necessary. Premium assets like stock footage, transitions, etc., 100% necessary. What are the best laptops for editing in After Effects and Premiere Pro? I'm going to give you two options. Number one is a high-powered MacBook Pro M1 chip, but again, you're going to want to get a semi-high spec. Don't get caught in the trap of thinking Mac will solve all your problems. It's really only the MacBook Pro that's going to be good for you. Alternatively, if you're not a Mac guy, any semi-powerful gaming laptop, a Razer Blade MSI, will also do you very well. I used to be part of the PC gang, the Windows gang, if you will, but they kept crashing on me. Mac has come through for me, and it hasn't died yet, but I'll report back if it does. What goes through your mind while editing content? Countless things go through my mind while editing content. I think ultimately my content gets done in a couple different batches. My V1 is just chops and cuts. I'm trying to really cut out all the garbage, focus in on the story at hand, focus in on the key information. Then we go back through for a wave 2. We slap a bunch of B-roll over the top of it. We slap a bunch of animations. We put some sound design, some sound effects, a bit of music. So what goes through my mind while video editing? How goddamn long it's gonna take me until I finish the project. Who was the best client ever for you? If you're talking about my most high-profile client ever, you're probably talking about the big Mayfair nightclubs that I shop for, Cirque du Soleil, Drama Park Lane. But who was my best client? I would say that is the people who provided me the most stability, because I never had to worry about when the next project was coming. They were giving me weekly work, and it was a very automated process. They send me the video, I edit it, I send it back, cool, I keep collecting my check. Those clients were YouTubers, they were social media content creators, and my two YouTube clients paying me $1,000 per month each made up my base level income, my $2K a month, and ultimately they made up the core of my freelancing career. I would then go to town every single month and get other work, one-off jobs, project hopping, if you will, and increase my income. I need to create a portfolio. Where can I get exciting videos to add to my portfolio? I'm going to give you a couple different options. Number one, you can offer free work to people. They'll then give you content to edit, and now you have a piece for your portfolio. There's only so many people you can hit up before someone says, yes, I'll take you up on the free video. Option number two, you can go to stock footage websites. A little bit boring, but it can be done. You can get some stock footage, put it together. Option number three, you can come to Video Production Plus, my private members community, sign up for $24.99 a month, head over to our practice project section, and download terabytes of footage from live freelance projects that I've actually shot and edited myself. You can see the result I was able to put together, you can download the raw footage and put together your own result, and you have my blessing to whack that on your portfolio as a real client piece. All right, quickly before we continue with the video, I just want to make sure you understand that I just dropped the VP Plus Outreach Masterclass. This is 20 episodes breaking down multiple different places that you guys can outreach to freelance video editing clients. We have 2 different episodes in each. Each category is split into a theory where we talk about the do's, the don'ts, and that's like a notes-taking episode. And episode number 2 is the practical, where we showcase live messages, outreach messages that worked and converted the client, outreach messages that didn't work and didn't convert the client. Things you guys should be incorporating in your own approach, things you might not be incorporating. This is 4.5 hours of content, 20 episodes long. If you join Video Production Plus for $24.99 a month, you get access to this program and multiple other programs as well, countless stuff on the way, 1,000+ digital assets, and one-on-one calls with me. It's the most competitive offer in the entire video production scene. You should be inside. And let's get back to the video. How difficult was it making the transition from gaming content to video production and marketing content? How did you maintain an audience through this? So anybody who's new on my channel doesn't know that I had a life before. I was a big gaming YouTuber. When I was 16 years old, I blew up doing GTA 5 trolling videos. Now I was 16 years old. It was a semi-big deal around my town. I'd actually built up an audience of over 70,000 subscribers. Eventually, I got bored of sitting in the house and I started a production company with my boys TQ9, and we started filming music videos around town. I started filming nightclubs. I started offering freelance services on the internet, and I pivoted the YouTube channel to video production and marketing. So how difficult was it to make that transition? I was only losing subscribers for the first year and a half. Imagine making content for a year and a half. Every single day, you're in the red. Even worse than that, they'd remind me in the comments section why they were leaving. We're leaving because you changed your content. It wasn't the best year and a half, but I persisted, and ultimately we ended up blowing the channel up for video production. I think I had 70,000 subscribers for gaming. A few years later, I had over 350, now 400,000 subscribers for my brand new type of content, and the transition had worked. How do you deal with clients with high expectations and a very low budget? So let's break that down. Number 1, you do need to vet clients. Now, beggars can't be choosers. So I would work with any client, regardless of their shitty attitude, when I was coming up as a videographer. When I started being a bit more in demand, I could say no. I remember I would just increase my prices to clients who I didn't have the best relationship with, and it didn't matter to me. If they couldn't afford my new price, we ceased working together, and I didn't even really like them that much. Again, this wasn't many people, but if they could pay the price, fantastic. I actually was now making more money. So you do need to take whatever work you can get in the early days to establish your track record. Once you have a bit more demand, then you can nitpick, cut off the guys who you don't want to work with, cherry pick the ones you do. Hey, yo, I got a question right now. Do you make most of your income nowadays from video editing as a freelancer or being a YouTuber, and which have you gained the most from? That's a great question right there. If we're talking historically, I've gained more money freelancing. If we're talking currently, I make more money from my efforts as a consultant in Video Production Plus, teaching my students how to build a career of their own. YouTube's actually my smallest income stream, but it's still consistent and it pays some bills. What's the best advice you could give in relation to building suspense with sound design? Super easy. Let's break it down with a visual. Sound design works best with contrast. You build suspense with contrast. What does that mean? That means a big build up and a slam to nothing. Let's go ahead and demonstrate this. I'm gonna give you 15 minutes to say sorry. And if you don't say sorry, we're gonna have a big problem. So did you see that? We use sound design to build suspense, and we use the contrast of an extreme build-up and then nothing to reinforce the suspenseful moment. What was your biggest client ever? My biggest client ever was undeniably Future, potentially Tyga, potentially ASAP Ferg, any of the big London rappers that I shot. Now, were they directly my client? Did Future text me, Jack, yo, come out, I've got a gig tonight? No. So technically my clients were the big London Mayfair nightclubs that I was filming in London. What's the normal average amount of hours a freelancer works? I don't think there is an average amount of hours a freelancer works. It's really case by case. I was putting any hour I could put into it in the first stage of the career. The freelancing game gets greater later, aka the harder you go up front and the more clients you build relationships with, the greater it eventually gets later down the road when you can increase your prices. You're not being so active with looking for work because you have a network that's delivering stuff to you, and it's a lot more of a passive approach to scaling your business and a much tougher grind in the early days of your freelancing career. Best software to edit videos with, there's absolutely no best software. Get something that works, start using it. It's really what you can do with the software, not what software you're using. You want to go on one of the industry level video editors, Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve. You could put some tasty stuff together in all of them. It really doesn't matter. It's just which one you feel most comfortable using. How to start Upwork and make a living. Make an account, post your job, see who hits you back, go back to the drawing board, refine your approach. It's a classic game of trial and error like anything else. If you start something and you don't get an immediate result, should you quit? No, of course not. You should simply look at your approach and look to refine it. I think a great strategy for new freelancers on Upwork is to, instead of making a freelancer account first, make a client account and post a similar job to the one you'd be looking for and just have a look at the quality of proposals that come in. That will give you an idea of what a winning approach looks like. You should copy that strategy and apply those same principles to your own approach when you're reaching out to clients yourself. Do you recommend working with agencies? I 100% recommend working with agencies for the right type of freelancer. An agency has a lot of clients. Now, they are going to be outsourcing those clients to you for a fee. So you're never going to be getting the full piece of the pie, but you're also not having to go out and find those clients. So that's the trade-off. It's a very favorable setup to anybody who doesn't love the anxiety of freelancing and going out there and finding the client yourself. And it can be a very passive source of work for the right freelancer. Now, are all agencies created equal? Absolutely not. So the quality of the experience you have with the agency ultimately depends on who this agency even is, who's running it, are they trying to rip you off? Boom, done and dusted. That right there is the video, guys. If you enjoyed, you're going to want to check out the last Q&A we did. Click right there. You're going to see the video on screen. Waste no time. If you made it to the end of this video, you clearly enjoy watching me answer questions. This video might have been even better questions than this one. Click the link. See you there. Peace.